The great debate over returning to office life. Hi there, thanks for joining us for Plain English lesson number 359. I'm Jeff, JR is the producer, and the full and complete lesson is available online at plainenglish.com/359. Coming up today, how's remote work treating you? If you've been working from home since about this time last year, you might be wondering how much longer it will last. And that depends on the type of work you do and the philosophy of your company. We'll explore some of those issues today. The expression we review is hand in hand, and JR has a song of the week. Let's get going. Netflix and big banks are doing it one way. Salesforce, Dropbox, and Spotify are doing it another way. Microsoft, many large corporations, law firms, consulting and accounting firms are splitting the difference. I'm talking about the great debate on how, or even if, employees should return to an office environment. Let's start by acknowledging that it's not effective to do many jobs remotely. You can't stock a supermarket shelf, grow crops, perform a laboratory experiment, or repair a car from home. But many jobs in today's economy require only a computer, internet access, and the ability to have video calls. The pandemic taught us that it's possible for many people to do these jobs from home, even if they had traditionally been required to report to an office. Every economy is different, but about 40% of the American workforce was able to work from home during the worst parts of the pandemic. Not everyone was equally productive at home. School teachers, for example, worked from home out of necessity, but that is not likely to be an option in the future. But for tens of millions of workers around the world, remote work is a real possibility for the post-COVID world. The only question now is where the world's bosses are and whether they are on board. There are compelling reasons to move to a remote model. The first is employee satisfaction and retention. Many workers found they preferred the flexibility of working at home. Bosses found that, contrary to their worst fears, employees maintained or even increased their productivity when working remotely. In addition, a remote model allows a company to hire from a much wider geographic area than simply the city or cities in which they operate. And workers farther from the most expensive cities are more affordable too. Another benefit is cost savings on facilities. Many companies that maintain expensive blocks of office space in the biggest cities are looking to downsize. Office leases tend to be 5 to 10 years in the biggest cities around the world. Companies with large office footprints are putting space up for sublease, hoping to make a little money off space they don't need. But look for large corporations to take less office space in expensive cities in the future as all or part of their workforces go remote. Not surprisingly, technology companies are leading the way in the all-remote model. Dropbox, Spotify, Twitter, and the payments company Square have all said they are remote first. Some non-tech companies are going that way too. Consumer banks and insurance companies are moving their call center operations to a remote first model. Those are the benefits, but not everyone is a believer. Large banks like JP Morgan and Wells Fargo believe they need their people to be in an office setting. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, says that all remote work can slow down decision-making, harm team morale, make it difficult to onboard new employees, and inhibit creativity. Reed Hastings, the boss of Netflix, says he doesn't see any advantages to an all-remote work arrangement. Especially in knowledge-based industries, it's not enough to have a lot of smart people. The smart people need to work together. And working together doesn't just mean having meetings. It means generating ideas together, challenging assumptions, exploring options, trying and failing, and working side by side to create innovative products and services. That's difficult to do in a remote environment. But what about the success of remote work to date? Some company bosses worry that the great remote work experiment of 2020 was successful because employees already had solid relationships to build on. But would you have been as effective remotely in 2020 if you had never met or worked together with your coworkers? How can younger workers get the training and mentorship they need if they never interact in person? Well, that brings us to what many companies are calling the hybrid model. Under the hybrid model, remote work and office work go hand in hand. For many of us, and of course I'm generalizing, but for many of us, our days are a mixture of working together and working independently. When we're working independently, some of us can be more effective at home, but when we need to work with our teams, being together in person is still valuable. The hybrid model will feature a mixture of remote work and in-person work. For some people, it might mean a few scheduled days a week at home. For others, it might be a more spontaneous and flexible arrangement. Come to the office when you have a team meeting or need to use common space. Stay home on other days if you prefer. This is probably a safer option. A hybrid model can let employees live farther from a city center if they don't have to commute every day. Employees could even live in other cities or regions if they're willing to travel in for meetings every so often. The office, under this model, won't be a place to spend your full day doing all your work. Instead, it will be a tool in your toolkit for doing effective work. Teams will use it how and when they need to. I expect this is the model that many companies will take toward their employees who mostly do computer work and who need to work together in teams. I've mentioned before that my day job is with a large professional services firm, and I work in consulting. We have been able to do remote work very well, and I love working remotely. But it's not the same, and we definitely have relied on our relationships, which we built in person, to get us through this year. I can't see us all going back to a 5-day-a-week in the office routine, but all remote work wouldn't work for us either. If the hybrid model is where many companies are going, then that will have implications for workplace design. Huge floors full of tables and computer monitors may not be the best design in the future. So we'll explore that on a future lesson, maybe next week or the week after. Today's expression is hand in hand. When two things or two people work closely together and when they depend on each other, they go hand in hand. It's not enough to just work nearby. It's not enough to just be similar. If two people or two things go hand in hand, each one needs the other to succeed. On today's main lesson, I said that in the hybrid model, remote work and office work will go hand in hand. That means that companies will use both remote work and office work together to achieve their goals. Remote work will keep employees happy by giving them the flexibility they need. Office work will make sure those employees can forge connections with one another and work effectively in a team. The work done at home will be independent. The work done in person will be collaborative. By using both working models, companies will be able to keep employees happy and reach their own goals. Office and remote work will go hand in hand. Both will be better because the other exists. Exercise and sleep go hand in hand. If you exercise, you'll sleep better. If you sleep better, your workouts will be better and stronger. If you do both, your health will be better overall. Exercise and sleep go hand in hand. Many of you work as university professors. What do you think about the idea that teaching and doing research go hand in hand? I'm not in the academic world, so I can't say. But the argument says that you're a better university professor if you're also doing research, and you're a better researcher if you also teach a few classes. You can specialize in one, you can specialize in the other, but doing both is important because they complement each other. The argument says they go hand in hand. Safety goes hand in hand with productivity on the factory floor. Do you think that's true? Some companies might try to cut corners with safety, but I think that you'll attract better workers and workers will be more productive when they know safety is a priority. Here's one I know better. In a startup business environment, customer service and product development go hand in hand. If you want to create a product or service, then you can't just assign customer service to other people and forget about it. That's because in the early stages of a company, customer service is your direct line of communication with your buyers. Answering customer service emails and questions will tell you how your customers use your product. And only then will you be able to improve the product for the future. Developing a product and giving customer service go hand in hand. Today's song of the week is Dead Flowers by the Rolling Stones. This is one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs. It's the story of a jilted lover. The girl, Susie, has broken up with the singer and gone on to marry someone richer. But the singer is still in love with her and remains devoted to her. My favorite lines are these. You can send me dead flowers every morning. Send me dead flowers by the mail. Send me dead flowers to my wedding. And I won't forget to put roses on your grave. Definitely one of my top 3 Rolling Stones songs of all time. Dead Flowers is the name of it. I like the version that appears on the 1995 album called Stripped. And that's all for today. Let me know what you think about this return to work. The topic came up during one of our live Plain English Plus member calls a few weeks ago. When I'm not doing Plain English, I work for an enormous global consulting firm. And for us, I think the hybrid approach is the way to go, but I can also see how a fully distributed team can work, a team where location just doesn't matter. I know there will be a wide range of opinions, so jump into the Plain English Facebook group and let me know what you think. You can get there by going to plainenglish.com/Facebook. And if you'd like to join a live call with me, JR, and other Plain English listeners, then consider joining as a Plain English Plus member. We have 2 calls a month, and we usually pick a recent lesson topic and have a nice, wide-ranging discussion about it. They're a lot of fun and a definite perk of being a Plus member. You can find out more by visiting plainenglish.com/plus, PLUS.